everyone. Welcome back to another interview, another author, another book, another new way into helping children be the best they can possibly be. That seems to be the sort of the overall focus of all of these books with our first Independent Thinking online children's book festival. I say first, maybe we'll never do another one. Who knows? But I'm enjoying this one. So many just wonderful, inspiring, interesting authors that I've had the privilege to chat to over in the build up to this, and then live over Saturday. We're into Sunday now. Sunday, where are we? 1 o'clock in Rotterdam, where I am. I've managed to stash myself away in Rotterdam International Secondary School. I know the head teacher; she's let me in for the day. So it's just it's been mind blowing, all the stuff that I've learned and all the new people that I've met through this Sue Atkins Book Club. That's how it all came about. And one of the things that Sue Atkins is trying to do with her book club is give authors who have great books a platform, a chance to sort of share what they do with a wider audience. And that's what we're doing with this lovely little book. But great things come in little packages. A book of mindfulness, meditation for children. And I'm really pleased to have Shelley Wilson, the author, with us. So Shelley, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background, about what you do, how you do it, and how you came to be writing this wonderful little thing.
Thank you, Ian. Yeah, and hello to everybody else. So yeah, I'm Shelley. I am a full-time author and a book coach, but I wasn't always that. As we do, we navigate our way through life, don't we, until we find where we should be. So I did 21 years in hospitality, which gave me a thick skin, which is always helpful being an author. And in 2004, I think this was probably where it changed for me. I packed my car up, which included my then 2, 3 and 5-year-old children, and we walked away from a violent and negative environment and started over. And I kind of had to learn how to survive and thrive then as a single mom. And part of that journey was finding tools and techniques for self-help, I guess. And meditation was a massive part of my life back then. My children grew up knowing of it. You know, mum did that, and mum liked crystals, and mum did this and that, and you know, and they do, don't they? They learn by watching. At that time, though, this was 17 years ago. At that time, I never really thought about teaching it to them. It was, you know, it was what adults did. It was, you know, kids played, mum's stressed. You know, that was how it was. So it was an interesting time, and what I did, I took myself back to night school and I trained. So I did massage, reflexology. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I did EFT. And in 2008, I started my own holistic health centre for ladies. And again, meditation came with me on that journey. And I started running meditation classes for adults. And I was running them right up to pandemic, actually. That's the only reason we didn't carry on. So it's been a massive part of my life. And a huge healing journey for me. But one of the things that I noticed, one of the ladies that used to come to my adult classes, she used to come on a Monday night and she'd say to me, my daughter wanted to come, and Olivia at the time was 5. And of course it clashed with bedtime, and this was an adult group. So she said to me, I'd really love if you could write her a meditation. Now, I write my own meditations anyway for my adult classes, but they're about half an hour long. And me, you know, as a writer, it was like, oh, challenge on. Absolutely. I'm going to do that. Not a problem. And I kind of sat and thought about it. And the setup for most of my visualizations, you got 10 minutes where you ground yourself, you work through your body, you're scanning for things. And I thought, well, a 5-year-old's not going to want to do that. So I had to kind of pull apart everything I'd learned when I was doing it for adults and adapt it for a child. And I write non-fiction self-help for adults, and I also write young adult fantasy fiction for sort of the teens. So I could tap into both hats, if you like. So I took the fantasy element and just ran with it. So I wrote her a meditation. I called it Olivia's Fairy Tree. And it was about 4 minutes to read, 3.5, 4 minutes. And her mum booked an appointment and brought Olivia along. And she sat on her knee and kind of kept one eye open, watching me, you know, that, I don't really know you, but I kind of want to know what's going on. And as I was reading this to her, I could see her shoulders just starting to relax, and she kind of slumped into a mop. And I printed the meditation off and gave it to her. And Tracy, the mum, was saying about 2 months every night, "Mum, read it to me again. Mum, read it to me again." And it really was an impact. Now, Olivia's like 10 or 11 now, so this was such a long time ago. But it planted the seed for me. And over time, it's funny, isn't it? Because as an author, like if you write romance or crime, you kind of stick to your groove, or you stay in that genre, don't you? So for me, I'd found non-fiction, self-help, young adult fantasy. That was my group. So, you know, personal development and werewolves, I've got you covered. I'm there. So this was different, and I didn't sit down and do it as I do my other books, where, you know, I've got a publication deadline and I backtrack, right, how long is that going to take me to work out and edit and do everything else. So every now and then I'd sit down and just write another little story. So it actually took me 6 years just dipping in and out, and then it was, actually, I should do something. I don't write children's books, so this is new to me. This is something really, really different. But I want to give it a go. And I just signed with my American publisher at the time, and they signed me for non-fiction and fiction. And I just said, look, I've done this, because I was ready to self-publish. And so I've done this. I've collaborated with a local artist. You know, she's done all the images for me. And I said, would you be interested in this? And they were like, 100%. This is, I mean, they're very into all of that as well, so it was brilliant. And so they jumped on board, and that was the first book that I did as part of my contract.
Wow.
So it was a really special journey, actually. We kind of all stumbled through it together. But the messages that I started to receive, I think I'm so used to getting messages from readers that, you know, the non-fiction and also the fiction. But these were so, like, I've got a 4-year-old with depression and anxiety. And I was like, what? Hang on, 4? And then 12-year-olds. I mean, it's targeted at 5 to 9. But there were younger ones, there were older ones, you know, sort of 10, 11, 12, who, you know, not sleeping. They're really struggling. They're anxious. They're nervous. There's so many things. And the messages I was getting from parents to say it helps them, you know, was just, for me, as a parent, wonderful, but as an author as well, it was like, I'm so glad I did this project and put it out there for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a story in the story. That's
Yeah.
one of the things I'm picking up from authors. Even what seems like just simple, straightforward, lovely book, there's always something going on underneath, both in terms of how the book is written, drawing on people's experience and their research and their wisdom, but also there's always some sort of catalyst for an author to put something out there. There are a few who just sort of sit down there going, oh, you know, everything's fine in my life, I'll write a book. There's usually something going on. And it's interesting how you've used the term journey quite a few times, and coach, which is also the traveling from A to B. And you got a picture of a camper van behind you as well.
I bought a camper van last year, so I'm off for every opportunity.
Yeah, you're ready.
I am.
You're never going to stay still, and be fearless as well is an important message sort of coming in behind you as well. I'm not sure what the flamingo means, but it's going to mean something.
No, that was just a gift.
It's just a nice colour. It's sort of fitted.
Just a gift.
Yeah, and I love the idea about your 2 different grooves as well. You know, you've got your self-help and your sort of self-help and werewolves. Is the moon half full? I think that's where it overlaps. I think you can call that'll be your next book title. You can bring your grooves together then.
Absolutely. I think my dad makes me laugh. I mean, he when I started writing, or started the holistic health anyway, for him he didn't quite get it. He was like, do you dance naked under a full moon with bells on your fingers? And I was like, no, it's not quite like that.
We've had a lady.
There might be a book in there.
Yeah, we've had a lady who was brought up by a pagan already this morning.
Yeah. So, there you go. You see,
it's all possible. All is possible. So in terms of meditation, can you just tell us the benefits, and you outline them at the beginning of the book. What are the benefits of meditation? And can you just describe it without doing one yet? Because I know you'll read one, but just describe, because some people might not know what it is or think of it as something else. And right at the very beginning of the book, you say something which is really helpful, which is this idea, this misconception that you have to empty your mind. And as soon as somebody says empty your mind, all you can think about is everything, as well as the fact that you're not able to empty your mind. And it's not about that. There are other things going on. So just so the benefits, and then what it is.
I think, you're absolutely spot on there. And I think one of the things that frightens people off meditation is that it is this huge process of being at one, and see, like you say, that empty mind. But I've been meditating for many years now, and I don't think I've ever had a moment of nothing. And maybe that's my author brain as well, because there's always characters talking to me or something happening. But it's noticing that is part of meditation. Is actually, right, what is going on in my head at the moment? What can I hear? Oh, I can hear a clock ticking, so I'll concentrate on that. It's actually focusing on that noise and using it as part of your meditation process, really. And I think when I started my holistic spa, because I did, like, say, reflexology, for example, at that time, it was still fairly unknown. You know, you'd go for a back massage because that's the normal thing to do. So I used to do pedicures because I could paint toes and talk about the benefits of a reflexology session. And I'd get them to come to me for the holistic side through beauty. And in the same way, this kind of book does that. You don't overthink the process. If you want to feel calm, relaxed, sleep better, feel more creative, lose that fogginess, be able to focus, then meditation is what you need to be doing. And there are so many different ways. I went to a friend's birthday this weekend, and she had a fire pit. And I noticed at one point all the adults around were just gazing at the flames. They'd all totally zoned out. And it made me chuckle because I'm like, you're all meditating and none of you know it. But it's focusing on that one thing, be it a noise or the chatter in your head, but being in that moment. And it really does bring about a sense of calm. And I mean, some of the messages I got from parents, you know, they might have said to me, right, my child's not sleeping, but we've been doing this as a bedtime routine and they're sleeping really well. But I've also noticed that and then they'll reel off a whole load of other stuff where they'll sit and read for a bit, or they might sit in colour for a bit, or they're suddenly calmer and they're not bouncing off the walls. And that is where it feeds into every part of your life and impacts every part of your life. I think that's probably the more important thing to say.
I mean, we have such busy lives and children, and there's so many, I'm thinking of screens as well as everything else. There's so many pressures, there's so much going on. So that ability, and I suppose lockdown as well, we've sort of gone everywhere and nowhere.
Yes.
You know, we can, from our room, we're still speaking all over the world. So that need to find some element of stillness, I think, is really important. And by doing it with the small children, I suppose you're developing they know what it is, they know the benefits of it, but it becomes part of their routine. This is the way that it works.
It's the toolkit. It's having a toolkit. And why shouldn't a 4-year-old have a self-care toolkit? You know, why does it have to be adults that have to have those things? I remember doing my daughter was doing her SATs when she would have been 10, and I remember doing an EFT presentation for their group, their class. And my daughter said,
I made a note EFT because you mentioned it earlier. What does it stand for?
Oh, sorry, emotional freedom technique. So it's where you tap on certain points. And I taught the sort of year 6s they were then, because they were about to do their exams, so they were a bit stressed. And I'll never forget my daughter telling me that when they leave school, they go and have like a leavers week, don't they? They go away, and they were climbing up rocks and hills and all the rest of it. And she said, Mummy, I saw one of the boys was tapping what you taught him because he had to jump off a log or something. And it was like, wow, that he's taken that one little assembly and he's used it and he's implemented it into his life. And meditation is something that you can do on the train. You can do sat in the dentist chair, you know, and I want kids to know that that's something that they've got for life now.
Dentist chair, I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, whenever I'm at the dentist, I always will take a walk along my favourite beach. And I suppose that's a form of, I'm just trying to keep my mind on something else. But I suppose that is a form of meditation, even when you're suffering from, you know, pain and in the intrusion and all of that. You can meditate in those circumstances as well as when it's quiet and calm, or there's a candle lit or whatever. So it's a useful tool. It's a powerful tool. Are you going to share something? And I also like the fact that you write them, and Olivia, and you dedicate the book to Olivia, don't you? That she had one written especially for her, and I can see that it's not this. You don't buy the book of meditation. Well, no, you do buy the book of meditation, but it's not this thing that you have to have the toolkit, if you like. You can create your own, and you certainly encourage at the end the parents and the children to write their own. So it becomes this personal thing, like my trip to my favourite beach when I'm at the dentist. I like that.
And I've had a lot of parents actually tell me how they've adapted the meditations, and a lot of them have added their children's names into them, so it's made them personal. And the kids have gone off on their own journey. So, you know, there are certain ones where, I mean, in the fairy tree one, for example, there's a few things that they can do once they're in the tree. What happens is that they fly around, but they visit a couple of other rooms. So in the book, I kind of say, go into the other room, explore what's in there. And part of the thing is I wanted to make it so that it didn't have to be a bedtime routine. So you'll notice at the end of the meditations, you've got a couple of options. One is say goodnight and snuggle down and go to sleep. Or the other is, right, what did you see? Because as soon as we close our eyes and start, you know, if I asked you to close your eyes and talk about pink elephants, they'd be there straight away in your head, wouldn't they? So the meditations that you're talking through with your child, they're going to be picturing this in their own unique way, something totally different to how you might picture it. And that's what I love about the creative side. So, right, draw what you saw. What was your kite? What boat did you see? What, you know, and that I love that element of it.
How many pink elephants? How many pink elephants did you see? I mean, it's, you go in all sorts of different directions with it. Give us a feel for it. What we got 5 minutes.
You're right. Okay.
Give us a feel.
One. So, and as I said to you earlier, I've got a cold, so you're supposed to be like nice and calm and not snotty when you're actually reading them. But I'll read a bit. So, as I was saying, the grounding section would normally be a bit longer, but in children's, I literally just broke it down to one sentence. But there's a lot of information for how to do it for parents in the beginning. But when you're reading a kid's book, you use your voice, don't you, as an up and a down and a that. But with meditation, it's just very slow, very calm, and very quiet. So it's a different way of reading a story, which is quite interesting. But yeah, I'll read this one for you. Now, if you nod off, I'll give you a shout. So close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. It's early in the morning and everyone is still asleep. You are snuggled up in bed when your bedroom window blows open and a magic carpet floats into your room. You are happy and excited to see the carpet, and you jump out of bed and climb aboard the soft rug. Can you see what colour and shape it is? The carpet shimmies and shakes as it waits for you to decide where you want to go on your adventure. Today, you decide to visit the seaside. Your magic carpet is excited and flaps its tassels extra hard. It flies out of the bedroom window, getting higher and higher. You are so high in the sky, you can stretch up and reach the clouds. Your carpet rushes in and out of the fluffy white swells, and the clouds tickle your nose. The magic carpet dips and sways, and you break through the clouds and see the sparkling sea below you. You both fly out over the water, dipping so low you can feel the spray of the sea on your face and see the fish in the water. And then you shoot up into the sky again to fly with the seagulls. The sun is shining and the sea is calm. Are there any boats? What colours are their sails? How many clouds can you count? You are having so much fun, but your magic carpet is starting to get tired. It's time to head home. So you wiggle your fingers and toes and stretch your arms. Your carpet flies through your open window and back inside your bedroom. And you jump off, waving goodbye as you run and hop back into bed. The carpet shimmies and shakes before flying out of the window, but it won't be long until it visits again. For now, you can dream about the adventures you and your carpet can have on your next visit. Until next time. I won't say goodnight, sleep tight, otherwise we'll never see Ian again.
I'm gonna have that recording and take it next time I go to the dentist. That was good. I was flying over my favourite beach. It's just so, I mean, you had me take a deep breath, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just that process of breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, it changes the state completely, doesn't it? Just that simple little thing, it sets you up nicely. So no, that's lovely. I'm well read. Nobody knew you had a cold.
Thank you. The Brummie accent didn't come out too much.
No, it's lovely. It was lovely. And like you said, it's a different sort of reading a story. You've got obviously it's about fun and it's a friendly carpet and we're shooting into the sky, but done in a way that's still calm. You're not getting them excited in that way, but they are immersed.
Yeah, if they're about to go to bed, you don't want them running around, and so you have to kind of bring them back down and into that calm space again.
Yeah. No, that's lovely. Thank you for that. I feel my dog woke me up at 4 o'clock this morning. I had trouble getting back to sleep.
Wow, there you go then. Sorted.
Straight off. Yeah. So we've done a deal with for the Independent Thinking Book Festival with the Roving Bookshop. So a lot of the books are available there, and you can get them signed and everything. But also, how can people get hold of the book? Other ways? How can they get hold of you, Shelley? How can they get hold of you? Social media and everything. Tell us what you've got.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, I am a bit crazy on social media, so you'll find me pretty much on every platform going. My main author platform, if you like, is Twitter, it's at Shelley Wilson and the number 72. And Shelley's SHELLEY, so you get the second E for free. And my publisher is BHC Press, and they have like an author page for each of their authors. So all my books are together on one platform, but all of the different links of where to buy them, so Waterstones, Amazon, Books and Noble, everything is on there. So so you can just visit the main publisher site and then access your favourite buying platform, which is probably the best option.
Okay, lovely, and congratulations on the American book deal as well. That's a dream for many authors, let alone in the home country.
Absolutely, yeah, and they're a great team to work with. So, in fact, I've just submitted a meditation for tweens and teens manuscript to them. Hopefully, in a year or two, we'll get that out in the shops as well.
Right. They don't have a flying carpet; they have a rocket or something, do they?
Yeah, a little bit. Had to be a bit more grown up for that one. It was a bit of a test, that was. So yeah, we might be paddleboarding in that one instead of flying carpets.
Skyboarding. Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you ever so much for that. Good luck with all of that. Good luck with your continuing journey that you are on, and I'm glad you loaded everybody up and left what you were, what was
100%.
far better. So thank you. Well done.
No, thank you so much, Ian. I really appreciate that.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.